Ja ne znam, nisam ja odobro sam tako da. Nismo odobro u smislu, nismo ono naš.
A nije da se čujete svaki dan i svak svoj život.
Svak svoj, tako i... Ja, znaš, ja uvijek držim one zemlje, pa ti nešto nećeš reći. Onda, znači, zato postoji neki razlog. Šta ja tebe začačkam, te pitam, ako ti se imaš potrebu poželjeti, ti se mene poželjeti, reći mi nešto. Ako nemaš, što te ima čačkaješ? I tako je obratno, ne čačkaj. Samo te Gruda. Ako ću ti reći sešti, ja sam od sebe, baš ne pitam se. Naša uva vrata. Svak svoj posao i to je to da se živimo sa koje tamo je tata. A znaš što je? A?
We missed the Montenegro.
Si prađeo Norveško?
Ne volim Norveško stari. Ljubomir je našao ženu sa troje djece.
Lijepo, ne mora praviti znači.
Ja volim ovdje troje. Ona je super, stvarno bila je tu da bojiš u i djeca ga vole njega i sve to su djeca kvete. Zapravo to su djeca mama za pogod koje da
Da.
Šta ja znam?
A ništa, njegov život.
Naravno, nisam ja niti sam vjerujem mi dao savjet, niti mi ovo savjet.
Rođaka koji isto kako ženio ženu, djetu s jednim djetom, razumiješ, rastavljeno. Pa svi nešto plaću u privat. Kako je bolje da je s nekim nego da je sam, ne živi Bog. Pa nije njegov djete, šta je sad?
Ja sam to rekao za njega zato što on je 36 godina, a nije nemoćan.
Dobro, sve u paketu.
Kako bi sve ovdje vozio,
Jeftino prošlo?
Jeftino došlo mora praviti. Odgaja, barem ono prvo.
Slušaj, ako je njemu, ja uvijek kažem, ako je njemu dobro, što si ti?
Ja se zadovoljan, ja sam tu već na meni cijela riječ, ne treba mi više.
Znači je gore stavno, nema namjeru da dolazi.
A ima namjeru, ali ono, kao, jako sredstvo to ostaje suzdržano, onda neće nići. Neće.
A dobro, sad ćemo bilo. Gaš. Ja nisam rođak, znaš, sad njegova sestra jedna koja ga razumije. A ostali svi, mater, rodbina, kako je mogu, kako je mogu, je li njemu dobro, šta se vi petnaste na on želi sreću ili ne želi sreću, prihvati ne prihvati, odjebi. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the short visit of the mill and the snack. Now we are driving to the place called Cavtat. Cavtat is a small touristic picturesque place with about 3,500 people are living inside during the whole year, and then in the summertime it's a bit more because, as I told you, the whole area lives entirely from the tourism. We're going to drive the same way through the County region. The County region, this road actually divides the two corner regions. In the upper side, on the right hand side, and the lower side, on the left hand side, it's not so touristically developed. We don't have any hotels around here. Everything is a bit of agriculture. Sometimes if you see how those houses on the other side of the valley are scattered around, there's no kind of a bigger village, but people, because of the transportation of the goods, they used to build the houses close to the fields, okay, or the plots of the land. And as Mr. Ivo says, the owner of the mill, donkeys and mules, but one of the most popular, important animal here actually was a donkey. Donkey is a symbol of Dalmatia, the region where we are right now. You know, Dalmatian dogs as well, coming from this area. However, the donkey is one because on these mountains you can hardly use any bigger animal. The horses are useless around here, so the donkey is something which was used mostly for the transportation of all the goods in this area. You can see lots of green in summertime as well. During the winter that remains green, and this is a typical Mediterranean climates around here. We have something like California, like hot long summers, and the wet winters, like no snow but a lot of rain, and temperatures are mild, maybe from 32 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, but basically almost never snows, and it's quite mild, boring, windy, rainy, and that's why, because of a lot of rain, we have this kind of a vegetation, a lot of greens here. It's typical Mediterranean vegetation called makia, which is made of 1,200 different types of trees and the plants. I don't know even in Croatian language what's the name of all of them. Imagine if I can tell you in English, but let me just put some of the plants which are typical for the makia vegetation. The same thing you can find in Italy, in Greece, southern France, even Portugal, Spain. And this is I don't know, Aleppo pine tree, cypresses, pomegranates, figs, olive oils, oleanders. Then you can find I don't know, like sage, rosemary, thyme, everything what is typical for the Mediterranean country. Holm oaks, for example, pomegranates, etc., etc. So everything what is basically typical for Mediterranean area. Right now it's in a blossom that yellow. You can see some of the bushes, a lot of the shrubs and bushes now on the left. You can see those yellow flowers, yellow blossom of so-called Spanish broom. They call the plant Spanish broom. Looks beautiful, and the whole mountain is covered with these yellow flowers. Doesn't smell really very nice, but it's typical. It's called Spanish broom. The broom because our grandmothers and great-grandmothers, they used to make the brooms out of branches. You know, when they cut it in January when the plants are not active, then they brooms out, you know, so that's why, like really typical Mediterranean, the southern part of Croatia, the region which is called Dalmatia, it's typical Mediterranean. Cypresses, this was as well a tradition around here that looks like the Tuscany a little bit. If you've been to Tuscany, and a lot of the cypresses as well. There was a tradition around here. One young couple, before they got married, the groom needs to plant several of these trees in the front or the backyard of the home. Now the numbers are variation between the 2 of them until the 30 of them. You know, I don't think 30 is a correct number, but the people like to tell these stories. However, you know, they do, even today, they do plant a couple of these trees in the front or backyard of the cypresses, and then higher they grow, the love is going to last longer. That's our, let's say, the romantic side. You know, I'm always saying, well, what's happening when they got divorced? You know, then they have to cut the trees. You know? And you know, thanks God Elizabeth Taylor was not born in this area, because she would plant 8 times so much trees. It's normal. But anyway, Anyway, that's a beautiful story. This legend, this tradition, it's still alive. You know, the people, they do really, after they got married, after they got their own home, they do plant a couple of cypress trees in their front yard or the backyard, and then the nature later makes that part, and then you have these a lot of these pine, those with cypresses. The cypress is indigenous here, but let's say the pine trees, which is plenty of them, it's not really a local tree. It was introduced from Aleppo, Syria in the 15th and 16th century because we have a lot of problems with the forest fire. We have this temperature about 40 degrees Celsius, so 103, 104 Fahrenheit in the summertime, and we have always the fire hazard. Now, when the fire destroys the woods or the vegetation, then the water, the next rain, washes down all the ashes, and there are no more roots of the trees to stop the land from the erosion. So basically, that's why our mountains are kind of without a lot of vegetation. I like to say naked or bald completely. And idea of the people here was to regrow, the forests, and here the typical indigenous tree is called holm oak. It's a smaller version of the big brother of the regular oak, and this holm oak, it's a smaller, but it grows about to reach a certain size. You can call it a proper tree. It needs about 50 or something years. So that's why they introduced that, let's say, fast-growing Aleppo pine tree in here to reforest the mountains. But that pine tree, Aleppo pine, it's very invasive. When you have it, then you cannot grow nothing underneath. It is really invasive species, and nothing grows underneath, so it's not that really, after a while, it's not that really good. It gives a beautiful shade, and it's kind of a really this kind of big shade, but you can forget about planting anything else underneath, while the holm oaks and all the other trees, the local trees, they do allow the other vegetation to grow underneath. I don't know if you notice these yellow flowers. There's this kind of Spanish bloom all around the place, and right now, April, beginning of the May, it's mountains are full with these yellow flowers and this Spanish bloom. Very soon we are going to arrive to the Cavtat place, and the Cavtat place, and we are going to get off the bus, and we're going to walk down to the waterfront. I'm going to take about 10-15 minutes of the time to explain you everything about the Cavtat. Not that much, and I'm going to have some free time. Let's say the return is scheduled to 12 o'clock. So let's see how good we are. With the time. And then I'm going to tell you exactly when we're going to start